welcome to There We Podcast.
My name is Ryan.
And my name is Pilar.
And this week we'll be discussing Alfred Hitchcock's 1963 thrasher film, The Birds. You like that? Thrasher film? The Birds follows San Francisco socialite Melanie Daniels as she pursues a local lawyer, Mitch Brenner, up the coast to Bodega Bay, where he lives with his 11-year-old sister Kathy and widowed mother Lydia. Once there, Melanie and the locals experience an unexplained avian apocalypse as colonies of seagulls, quarrels of sparrows, and hordes of crows flock and attack, forcing our two lovebirds to migrate for their lives. You like that synopsis?
That's pretty good.
All right, let's start with getting into the characters. Just a little basic rundown of who these people are.
All right, so our main characters are Melanie Daniels and Mitch Brenner. So Melanie is I would say a very I wrote she's an incurable prankster who goes to great lengths just to pull off a joke.
Yes.
She's kind of a compulsive liar. You never know what's up with her, and yeah. Then we have Mitch Brenner, who is the handsome, tall, dark man that everybody is brooding over. He's got some nice outfits, but as far as personality, he's kind of run of the mill, like charming man, I guess. He is a lawyer in San Francisco.
A lawyer in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
That is all that we really know about him.
Yes.
As far as, background. Then we have Lydia, who is Mitch's mother. She's a widow who kind of just hates the idea of being alone. She kind of comes off as being overprotective, but really she is just kind of sad and lonely.
Yes. Okay.
All right. And then we have Kathy Brenner, who is just the little sister who just wants to be liked. There's not much going on with her aside for it was her birthday and Mitch was trying to get her some birds and they didn't have them, and then Melanie decides to give this random little girl some birds because she has a crush on her brother, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we have Anne Hayworth, who is the school teacher who teaches Kathy, but she's also the ex-lover of Mitch Brenner's, and she has very much lesbian energy, and I definitely think that they snubbed her of that, but whatever, this film was filmed in the 1960s, so lesbians didn't exist.
Yeah. That's basically it. There's a lot of small characters.
Yeah.
But those are the big five, I guess. Yeah. So let's go ahead. You start. How did you like the movie overall?
Okay, so I don't feel like I liked it. I don't like it enough to rewatch it, but I liked it. It was a nice film that I enjoyed. Did I think it was kind of stupid at some points? Yes. Like I said, would I watch it again? No, probably not, unless I get a certain line stuck in my head and then I'm like, well, now I have to watch it. But overall, I don't think I really liked it that much.
Yeah, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was going to be slightly more terrifying,
right,
or slightly more ridiculous, and it kind of
it
wasn't either of those things.
It wasn't campy and it wasn't scary. I feel like in watching or in reading reviews, people were like, this is so terrifying. It's like, well, maybe it's because I don't have the fear of birds already going in this film, that I also just wasn't scared of the same bird reposted a billion times on screen. I'm not gonna fault it for being created in the 1960s. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 1963.
So I'm not gonna be like, the graphics are ridiculous, because it's that's not the point at this point in time. But it's at least be interesting.
kind of not the point, but so I do have a fear of birds.
Yes.
Our roommate has 2 birds.
I was in charge of taking care of these birds, and at some point I would ask Ryan to help me because my leg was broken. Yes. And this poor little boy.
Yeah, anyway, it's absolutely terrifying. There's just 2 small birds, and when they're in an enclosed space flying around your head, that's pretty terrifying. But, this movie just didn't make me feel the same way. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I feel like half of it was like people being scared of the birds, but also being like,
Yeah. We'll get into the acting in a minute. What about an interpretation? So the thing that I struggled the most watching the movie is like trying to figure out, okay, these birds, what do they symbolize? Like,
what do the birds mean?
What do the birds mean? Do you have an interpretation? I
honestly couldn't make anything together by myself. I feel like after we've read a couple reviews, I feel like it kind of made sense. But if I were to create an overall meaning of what this film was, I think it just feels like an experimental film that had a lot going on as far as like editing and like special effects goes. And so I feel like it kind of like pushed a story aside in order to fulfill these new experiments as far as film goes.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty plausible scenario there.
The story was there, it just also wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with an interpretation, so I was thinking, I wrote this down while I was watching it. Just maybe the birds act as like an external threat that makes these hoity individuals examine their own psychosis. That's what I wrote down when I was watching the movie.
Okay.
So the birds, they come in, they disrupt this like super small town and upset what we call like a non-narrativeness, or non-narrative like harmoniousness that's going on. And anyway, the birds could also at various points kind of easily represent racial integration in this like blip of a town in the early 60s, specifically with like, I was thinking of like Jim Crow laws, the desegregation in schools.
Okay.
And like specifically outside the schoolhouse, there's all these crows gathered.
Right.
It's, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it could be a stretch.
Yeah, I mean,
it makes sense time-wise, but
I feel like it's almost purposefully put in there like that, especially with the specific scene that I wanted to refer to is when they're in the diner and we meet the old ornithologist.
Oh yeah.
The bird
expert.
The bird expert. She says basically that different species don't flock together. If they did, we wouldn't stand a chance.
Oh my god.
And I was thinking, okay, maybe different species, different races, like that's what's going on. But it's like that line was put in there just to make that come across.
Yeah.
But that's not really the case. I think, just maybe, sometimes the birds are just birds. And that's the point of the movie.
The point of the movie is that birds are government propaganda.
I mean, these birds are just attacking.
They are just attacking people for no reason. Sorry.
Do you have a specific scene or no?
A specific scene or moment that sealed my opinion of this movie. So I feel like it was a fine movie up until the birds started attacking, honestly. I mean, it was set up to be a rom-com almost, or like a romantic movie, maybe not a rom-com.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to be very funny.
But then the birds started attacking, and, it felt like their acting went from being like pretty good to like just being subpar. And the film or the scene that solidified my rating that I have it at was the scene where the birds are attacking and Melanie runs out of the diner and she's just in the phone booth going Like, the birds aren't even, like, touching her because she's in the phone booth, but she's just, like, rolling around in the phone booth. It's like, what is...
They're, like, smashing through the glass
Yeah,
and
like,
stuff.
who does that? Like, why are you doing this? Why didn't you just stay in the diner?
All right, so let's talk about quickly how this fits into Hitchcock's greater collection of work. So Hitchcock is
a remarkable kind of filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean he's one of a kind in the land of cinema. He's done over 50 like full length feature films. The Birds is considered one of his masterpieces.
Sure.
Some other notables. I put this on the list. It's not considered a masterpiece, but we have certainly watched it, and it's one of my favorite Hitchcock films. Rope. He did that in 1948. That's kind of what I wanted out of The Birds. Dial M for Murder, which I haven't seen. Rear Window, which
we just bought.
Yeah, we now have. To Catch a Thief, which I have not seen. Vertigo, which I think we also have.
I think we own. We just haven't watched it yet.
I need to watch that. North by Northwest, which I don't know. Something about that. Here's the thing. Something about the title just makes me think of airplanes, and I don't really care. Of course, Psycho is the
classic.
If there's one, it is the film that Hitchcock is known for. Then The Birds, and then finally following The Birds, he also worked with Tippy Hedren, who plays Melanie, again in the movie Marnie, which I have not seen. I will say, I think Rope was the first Hitchcock movie that I saw. Made me want to see all of his movies. The Birds, if I had not seen Rope, would make me not want to see any more of his movies.
Oh man. Yeah. I think Rope was my first and only film so far from Alfred.
You haven't seen Psycho?
I haven't seen a Psycho. Which Rope was excellent. I really loved watching that film. But The Birds was just like, for it to be later than Rope is kind of disappointing. Like, if this was his first film, like, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, but it wasn't.
No, this is like...
It's like 60th.
Him peaking. Okay, so Tippy Hedren, she's the main character, plays the main character, Melanie. This was her first film. She was basically discovered by Hitchcock, I think, in a commercial, or she was doing like some modeling or something.
Okay.
She was also in a Charlie Chaplin film called A Countess from Hong Kong in 1967. And then after that...
she was in The Birds too.
After the Charlie Chaplin movie, her and her husband made this weird lion movie in which they had lions living at their house, like real lions. Whoa, they filmed it over like 5 years. I think I've heard of this. She... Apparently, like 30-something people got mauled in the creation of the movie. Including her daughter, Melanie Griffith.
Oh my god!
Yeah, crazy.
Did they still release it?
It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, did she die?
No.
Oh, she was just mauled.
Yeah. Melanie Griffith has gone on to have a long career in film.
No, her daughter.
Yeah, Melanie Griffith. Well, her name is Melanie in the movie.
Okay. All right.
But she had her daughter before the character. Anyway,
okay. Got it.
Anyway, then she does make a cameo in The Birds 2, which was like a made-for-TV sequel.
Okay, it looked like it was made to TV.
And then
did Alfred Hitchcock? He didn't do that, right?
No.
Damn.
It's an awful film.
It's like Psycho 2.
It's
American Psycho 2.
Yes, it's probably a lot like that. It's probably a lot more entertaining of a view, I would think. Anyway, she was also in I Heart Huckabees in 2004, but a very small role. Tippy is mother of Melanie Griffith, who is also the mother of Dakota Johnson. So Tippy is Dakota Johnson's grandmother.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a fun fact there.
Fun.
Yeah, Okay, let's get into some aspects. I was not impressed with her acting, I will say.
I think she did fine. I think she did a good job up until she had to be attacked by the birds. And then it just seemed weird to me in the ending scene where she's attacked by the birds. Like she goes into the attic by herself, and I don't know if she's just trying not to wake anyone up to make them worried, but she's like literally so quietly being attacked. She's like,
and then she's like, "Oh, Mitch,"
and then she like
what is
slightly that? Opens the door and then closes it again. Like, just open the door or just die. Like,
I don't know what's going on in that scene. There's like some weird like sexual tension going on. Oh my god,
dude, talk about sexual tension.
So awkward. Yeah. Okay. So about that, they have like some very strange flirtation, like immediately. Melanie and what's his name? Mitch. And it just, I'm like, oh, okay, this is a strange meet cute. This is like a meet awkward, but not like rom-com style. It's like, I don't know.
They meet at the bird shop, and she's there getting a bird for her aunt. He like sees her, and he's like, "Oh, this girl is a joker. I'm gonna prank her." Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, little lady, you work here?" And she's like, "Hell yeah, I do." I thought he was there to like serve her. Because he mentioned court, and I thought he was stalking her.
He literally walked away and said, "I'll see you in court."
Yeah! Yeah, and then she, like, goes and drove 2 hours from San Francisco.
Well, let's back it up. First, after he leaves the bird shop, she runs outside to get his tag number, writes it down.
Oh, yeah. His neighbor.
His across the hall neighbor.
Just fucking spills the beans.
And he was like, "I would take care of him myself, but I'm leaving as well." Like, of course. Like,
and then she gets there.
Goes to the post office.
She drives 2 hours with these birds, goes to the post office, like, "Hey, where's Mitch live?"
He's like, "Well, he lives in that big house across the bay." And she's like, "Okay, how do I get there?" And he's like, No, you don't understand. Come to the door." And he goes out the door and he's like, "See that house over there across the bay? It's that one."
Yeah, he's like, "You can drive and I'll take you right to the, drive around the bay and I'll take you."
The driveway goes all the way over there.
I don't know. Go ask the school teacher.
She lives over here.
And she looks up, like literally up from her steering wheel, sees a red mailbox literally like 2 feet away, and she drives up 2 feet and then parks her car. And then that's when we meet Annie.
Yeah. Annie is the best part.
Yeah, Annie is definitely my favorite
There's
part.
definitely some better chemistry between
dude.
Annie and Melanie than there are anyone else in the movie.
Not to be gay, but like, which Annie definitely gave off vibes because she's like
gardening too.
Yeah, she's getting dirty. But I don't know. And then the way that she would talk to Melanie was like trying to get in her business, trying to like, like, "What are you doing here?" Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Well, it's none of my business."
Right. It's like, oh well, actually, never mind. I don't know. I felt like flirting to me. "Oh, how do you know Mitch?" And she's like, "Oh, we met in San Francisco." And she's like, "Oh, he meets everybody in San Francisco." And you're like, oh, what is Mitch doing? So I don't know. She drives up to his house. We're just like explaining the whole movie at this point. I don't know, but it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you haven't seen the film, like, it's hard to tell how ridiculous it is without explaining the whole movie.
She doesn't drive up to his house.
Anyways, this woman effortlessly gets in the boat and effortlessly gets out of the boat with heels on, and she's holding her purse.
And then just walks right into his house.
Yeah, she just walks into his house, leaves the birds on a little desk or whatever, puts a little note for Kathy. Like, she doesn't even know this girl. And then she... That's when she starts the car, or the boat. And she's, like, struggling, and this guy, like, runs in and gets his binoculars. Like, who's this?
Like, low-key, that's kind of, like, the best technical aspects of the movie.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, I remembered about the car.
Oh, I thought you just got scared by a memory of the birds.
No, sorry, you were saying.
Okay, 1 second. So, low-key, this is, like, the best technical aspect of the movie, because the camera like shows her in the boat, and then it shows like her point of view of this house, and like Mitch like running back and forth.
Oh yeah, I do like that. Yeah,
and then it cuts back to her like watching him. Like it that's really good storytelling,
versus like
with
a close up of him going into the house and going out. Like
that's probably the climax of the whole movie right there.
Yeah.
And but then he sees her.
Yeah, he like gets in his car and speeds the heck out of there. Like, the road is just it's just one little single like going around the bay, and he is speeding to get over there. He beats her to the dock too. Yes. And then she's like pulling up to the dock in her little boat, and then a bird attacks her. Yeah, and he was like there to tell her off, but then the bird attacks her. I felt like he was mad, you know?
No.
She did a breaking and entering.
Well,
he's a lawyer.
He wasn't going to tell her off.
I felt like he was going to tell. Well, then why was he speeding? Dude, he looked mad to me, and he was speeding in his car, and he walked up to the dock, like, real mad to me. He looked real mad, and then he saw the bird attack her, and then he, like, completely dropped it. It was like, are you okay? Like, let me save you, or something like that. That's what it felt like to me.
Okay. I didn't like how every time the bird, like, touches somebody, they were just like, oh, I'm about to faint.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been attacked by a bird.
All right. Any other aspects you want to talk about? I got a few.
I will say I really enjoyed the like overall aesthetic of the film. I think there was a lot of like cool colors that were present in this film, and I really liked the fashion. For the most part on the leads, and the mom was okay. I like the kids' outfit too. Kathy's, they were pretty cute, you know, all American.
Okay.
But I especially love one that Melanie is wearing the same green suit for 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
But it was a really pretty green that I feel like, you know, I kind of want to copy. I did tell Ryan. Oh yeah, because he was wearing green pants, and I told Ryan that I wanted to be like them for Halloween with little birds around us.
Yeah, and the truck is green.
The truck is green.
It's like the same.
The phone is green.
The phones are green, and the lovebirds are green.
They are green. Maybe green is now the color of love.
I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Oh, and then the mom, she's like super jealous. Green envy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Jealous love. That's what the green stands for.
That's what the green stands for? Jealous love?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What was your favorite aspects or not favorite aspects? Something that stood out to you?
All right. So obviously the special effects stand out.
Yeah.
For better or worse. So I was not simultaneously. I was at times both impressed with the special effects of the birds. I feel like when they had space to work with, and the birds weren't like swarming, those were highly effective. Like all the crows on the playground outside the school,
right?
Like that's great.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All the birds like on the phone lines like, throughout or the power lines or
Yeah.
whatever, like throughout the film.
In the ending scene, they had birds all over the house, all over their yard, and they're kind of like driving over birds because it's just full of birds.
Yeah. So specifically, they used Walt Disney Studios, MGM, and Universal all worked on separate parts of scenes with birds.
Mm-hmm.
And that final shot, it actually it was a composite of 32 separate like elements, or like 32 separate layers of film to create all of those birds.
So they didn't just get all the birds there?
No. It's like layers of film. Basically.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, that's actually pretty cool then.
But yes, that's pretty cool. But then when the birds are attacking people, it does not look very good.
It does not look good. It looks like they just filmed 2 birds just doing this, and then they copied and pasted that a billion times.
Yeah, but I mean, they didn't have like Photoshop or anything.
I mean, but like...
Okay, so specifically the scene where all the, what are they, sparrows come through the chimney into the house?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So they had, you could see like some birds were like there in the actual house. Like they were like just sitting there,
they were
still
just
on the
sitting.
floor, like chilling, you know? But then they created the effect of all the birds flying around by filming basically birds in like a glass encasement. And they were just like film birds like flying around. And then there's something like some technical like film stuff where you like take the color out and you can just overlay it on another image. And they just did that a bunch. And like that's...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not docking it for its technicality. It's just like, it's hard to be... I think in hindsight, or in the big picture, like it's hard to like be impressed by that in 2021.
Oh yeah.
But like when you explain it a little bit more in like the technicality, I do think it's impressive in that sense. But like in watching a film, I'm just not impressed by that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I like thinking about like, oh, I really wonder how he did that. Like it looks cool.
Yeah.
But then when the birds attack, it looks like they're just like throwing like toy birds at people. I don't know. It doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort into certain things, and it didn't look like they put as much effort into everything. So that...
Yeah, I did feel that
kind of undermined
like that the whole movie. I felt like there were some parts that were really impressive in acting and like cinematography. And then there were just others that just weren't in the same level. So it was kind of confusing watching the film because you're like, whoa, what just happened? Like, why did this downgrade? Or, you know, like that's the thing that kind of really upset me about this film is that, you know, I feel like I had a good time watching it, but I was also like very confused the whole time by the story, by the editing, and by the overall like production of it.
Story-wise, I thought it was pretty boring plot.
Yeah. Well, I kind of liked it. I liked their little scheming romance that was happening.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't like much.
Yeah.
I didn't like the characters.
Okay, what I do like about Mitch as a character is that
he's like, do anything. This guy can do anything. He's a lawyer, but...
Yeah, well, I felt like he became more humanistic. I don't know. He became more vulnerable, like as a human, like not just as a male character. I felt like, I don't know, like he was just getting it done, but not in like a heroic way, but like in a, I'm so done with this, like I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. Like I feel like he came in as a very charming character. And, you know, he came in as, like, almost, like, the, not big macho man, but kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the big man taking a hold of the situation. But then when it really came to, like, the birds being in the house and, like, being attacked, I felt like he wasn't, like, trying to be heroic. He was just trying to be, like, save his family and, like, I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like oh, let me do this.
There was like nothing sexy about him.
Yeah, like it wasn't.
You know, he like takes that little I don't know what it's called, like a hall tree thing with a mirror, and like picks it up and like puts it in front of the door and like nails it to the door, like that kind of thing. Like,
oh, I don't know. I feel like
he doesn't do it like
to show off almost. Yeah. Like
he does it because it's necessary.
Yeah, almost like he's almost like annoyed with his family who aren't doing anything besides like crying. I feel like that's what it looked like to me. Like he was annoyed. But at the same time, he had to, like, take charge. But also, he, like, didn't want to be in that position. But because he was the man, he kind of had to do it. So he did it. But he didn't, like... I don't know. That's what it looked like to me. I actually really liked Mitch as a character. Melanie was okay. I don't know. She was just, like, kind of stupid. And, like, nonsensical sometimes. It's like... I don't know. Why would you go out of your way for 2 hours to prank this man? Like, that makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, I know you like him, but like, girl, come on.
The thing that really, now that you're mentioning it, the thing that really bothered me is that she just stays there. Like, these birds are attacking everybody. Like, she could just leave and go home, but she doesn't. She just stays there.
Yeah.
Just to survive a couple more attacks. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know why at no point in time during this whole weekend did I think,
let's just leave.
Let's just all go to San Francisco. Let's just all
go to San Francisco. Like, he's got an apartment down there. He can just house his mom and his sister. Like, she can skip a couple of days of school. Like, it's not even happening. There's a bird pandemic going on.
The fucking teacher's dead.
Yeah, dude. So there was a point in the film where, like... There's all these crows outside of the playground, and Melanie goes to pick up Kathy, who's the sister. I don't know if you guys keep forgetting. I keep forgetting. And then she's, like, waiting outside because Annie was like, hey, I'm still teaching a lesson. Give me a second. And she's, like, seeing all these birds. She goes inside, and she's like, there are birds outside. They can't go out for recess. And then Annie is like, okay, kids, we're going to do a fire drill. We're going to go outside, and when we go outside... You just run home. And it's like, why would you go outside where the birds are and not just stay inside of the school protecting all the children? That makes no sense to me. Like, just keep the doors closed. The birds can't get in there. Or, I mean, they can, but it'll take a little bit longer than just letting the kids run free and then just open the gates for the birds to attack these kids.
And the way it's cut is like, the kids get outside.
Yeah, and then you hear like
start yelling.
Yeah. You just hear footsteps. It's like, why wouldn't you be silent trying to run away from the birds? It makes no sense for you to be quiet in the building and then be loud as heck when you're running outside where the birds are. It makes no sense to me. I'm sorry. Now
did you enjoy the movie?
I did have a good time.
Okay. Great.
Well, there's some enjoyment in being mad at something in some ways. Like, I'm not really mad at this film. It just makes no sense.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's stupid.
Okay, so there is like a cage motif also. So the phone booth specifically, I feel like is like the embodiment of like a human cage.
Okay.
And the birds are on the outside, like pecking at it.
Talk about like
who
implied
cares?
Symbolism.
That's the thing. It had so much like forced implied symbolism that didn't actually symbolize anything. It was just like there to make you think think something.
There's one point where the birds were attacking people and this one lady was like upset and she says to Melanie, oh, they said the birds didn't start happening until you came. I think you're evil. And then she like slaps her and I'm like, where did this come from? Like,
well, I think that is like calling out what a viewer would be thinking. Like, me personally, I'm like, I am trying to place meaning on what is happening. I'm like, did Melanie bring this about?
It felt so left wing, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just not the case. I don't know.
it felt so out of place and almost like a mockery. Like, it almost felt like it was trying to be a parody of horror.
Yeah, almost.
But it like wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny in like dumb ways, like, you know, Melanie going in the booth or whatever.
I mean, that's not even funny to me.
No.
Anyway, you got anything else on aspects?
On aspects. Oh yeah, somebody said, there was a bird who hit Annie's door, and then Annie was like, oh, maybe he just couldn't see his way through the dark.
Oh, right.
And then Melanie was like, well, it's not even dark outside. It's a full moon. And then I was like, where birds? Which, I mean, it didn't even happen. So I was like, well, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do like also when Melanie was driving all the way up to Bodega Bay, she had the birds, the lovebirds in the cage, and she was like swerving or whatever, and there was a cute little close up of the birds. Like, you couldn't see their faces; it was just their backs, but they were like leaning like this, like, she's a terrible driver. We're in danger.
Yeah,
I did like that. That was pretty cute. That's it. And that's all I really enjoyed.
All right, what you got about for your final grade of the film?
Final grade. All right, so I pretty much consistently gave this film like 7 or 8s in each category, like plot and dialogue. Like, I liked the dialogue for the most part. Like, there were some quotable things, but at the same time, I just have a hard time seeing a real romance kind of peak like that.
Yeah.
And setting and like, I feel like setting wise, I didn't understand why people would just give out people's information like that. Like, that made no sense to me. But I don't know what it was like to live in the 1960s. So, like, maybe that's just how people talked. They just gave out information because it's like, there's no Facebook, there's no like Instagram. You can't just get that stuff like instantly. You kind of have to like talk, like work your way around it.
Yeah.
And so it would just be easier for your neighbor to tell your whole business than for someone to actually find out. I don't know.
It wasn't just with like names too. So Melanie asked like the neighbor, the postman, Annie, like all for directions, like driving directions. Mm-hmm. And then even when she's potentially about to leave, like Saturday night, mentions like, do you know how to get back? I can give you directions or whatever. Like, I think that's just what people did. I don't know.
So, like, I rated that an 8. So, because one, it doesn't seem believable to me, but at the same time, I don't really know what is believable as far as that kind of aspect goes. The sound, I was very annoyed by the birds. Like, I feel like I was meant to be scared by the sound, but because they use the same bit over and over and over for such a short amount of time for various lengths of amount of time, it just kind of like grew old and kind of annoying. I just feel like if they had recorded more sounds to play at different parts versus like each part, I think it would have been better. Originality, I have it as an 8 because it's like, it is a very original movie, but at the same time, it's like it feels like too original to the point where it like makes no sense. You know, it's just like too original to be weird almost, and I don't like that. And I put a 6 as enjoyment, so oh dang it, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't total it up?
I didn't total it up, but yeah, you can tell them yours.
All right, so I kind of went by. I have like this old guide that I found where I start at 1 with like a movie that I regret watching and I don't want to recommend to anyone, all the way up to a 10. You know, it's like, you know, flawless film. This falls close to like a 5 or a 6. I'm gonna give it a 5.8 for my rating. Mm-hmm. Just fairly low, but like, I don't want to watch it again.
Right.
I am happy that I have seen it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like it is worth watching one time.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
It has a couple of redeeming qualities about like special effects and stuff.
Yeah.
But not my favorite movie by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's not good.
Yeah. What's your actual score?
Overall, I have it at a 7.2, which is pretty high. Like, I think if I had to put it on a personal kind of list, I probably would put it at a 5.2. Because it's like, it's a fine movie. I enjoyed watching it. I liked getting mad at all these ridiculous things because they're just so silly. But it was like not a good movie, and I definitely would not watch it again.
Yeah, I would not call it a good movie.
It was a fine movie.
Well, what's your one favorite thing about this film, or about watching the movie? It doesn't have to be about the film itself.
One favorite part of the film, I would probably have to say was Mitch speeding down the road. I don't know. It just seems so funny to me. He's just like driving his little car to like go meet her. I don't know.
Yeah, it looked ridiculous.
Yeah, he looked like it was going fast.
Yeah.
It's like I can't drive higher than 75 miles an hour because that just feels too fast. This guy was going like 200.
Yeah, and at some point, like the driveway is like literally right next to the water, and he like
he like dips in the water.
Water splashes up.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so that pretty much sums up The Birds for you guys. I hope we did a pretty decent job explaining our viewpoints of it. We have 3 choices for our next podcast. So these are based on the motif of green that ran throughout the movie Birds. Mm-hmm. These movies don't have green in their title, but either the cover art or the like film poster, the official film poster, has a lot of green in it. So yeah, do you want to?
Yeah. So the first film we have for you guys to vote is I cannot pronounce that. It's Amélie. Yes. Amélie, by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, I feel like I think we started watching it. I started watching it, but then I think I fell asleep.
It's a great quirky little movie.
Yeah,
I love it.
And then we have Parasite by I can't pronounce his name.
Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho. Sorry. This was in 2019, and we definitely seen this film. We definitely have our own thoughts about this film. So that would be kind of pretty exciting. And then we have C, Y tu mamá también, by Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah.
Cuarón?
Yeah.
Which was in 2001, which I haven't seen, but I
have seen it. Yeah, it has been a while, but
I'm pretty excited to see that.
All 3 of these movies are fantastic. So let us know which one you want us to review next. Of course, thank you so much for watching us. Please subscribe to our channel and share us with your friends.
Yeah, please share us, and then follow us on Instagram. We are at There Will Be Podcast, and on Twitter we are Pod from a Basket.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you, of course. And we're gonna leave you with a bit different parting words because there wasn't that many quotes in the movie.
Yeah, not really funny quotes.
So we're gonna quote some funny reviews that we found on Letterboxd.
Yes, we have found some really good stuff.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
All right.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think I like the Death Grip song more.
Melanie, let me stalk this man to his family home and give his sister some birds as a gift. The birds of Bodega Bay. I think the fuck not.
Humans are horny. Birds of the earth. Okay, you know what? Fuck this. They're done.
Everyone. Mitch, what's happening? Mitch, how the fuck would I know?
Bird up.
Bird up.